Hi, thank you so much for clicking on my channel. This is Tea Time True Crime with Catie, and I am Catie Brannon. Well, thank you for being here. Good morning, good evening, and good all the things. So today's story is absolutely devastating, very upsetting, but it needs to be told. Now, even though it's very famous in Canada, in the United States, it was not well known. The only time that we've heard of this case is about a few months ago, where a series called Under the Bridge, starring Riley Keough and Lily Gladstone, I love her, they are in a Hulu series. Now, I do recommend that series. I was told by a TikToker, thank you so much for the story suggestion. It has absolutely devastated me. It's actually brought up old feelings about how cruel kids could be, but I'm telling you, I'm giving you a trigger warning, because the cruelty, you guys, there has got to be another word for it. Before I go into the story, I hope you guys enjoyed the main page. The song is originally written by and performed by Doug Burton. So I appreciate that song on my theme song. I always talk about shout outs. Now, if you are a man, like, you do not get any periods or menstrual and stuff like that, just scroll over, I guess skip to this timestamp for where the crime starts, of where I am talking about this horrific crime. Okay, but right now I want to talk about ladies, hello queens. So I talked about this product a while ago on one of my podcasts, and I was asked, well, can I see it? What does it look like? Well, you know what? I bought it just for you because I'm still using mine. It's been, I think, a few years, 2-3 years, and already I've saved so much on tampons and pads. It's amazing. So pick up the reusable menstrual disc. Now, what it looks like, it kind of looks like a condom, like something like a condom, and it has like a little divot on the side. And so what you do is, when you're in the shower, ladies, you squat. Now, you just squeeze it like this, okay? And then you just insert it inside yourself, and then what it does, it holds all the jellyfish looking substances, the stuff that we have, and all the blood and everything. It holds it. Now, you can have this inside you for up to 12 hours. I'm serious. I don't know where this has been in my high school years or college. Like, I cannot live without this now. I live and breathe the reusable menstrual disc. It does not hurt. It actually helps with cramps. And also what helps with cramps is taking magnesium. Magnesium has been a game changer, okay? Now, if you're like, well, Catie, are you out of your mind? This is not going to be enough for 12 hours. I'll feed you, baby bird, okay? So when you go to the restroom, the little divot that I showed you, when you pee, the blood will come out of here with the pee, so it drains this. So the only thing that's left is, like I said, I call it like having a jellyfish. It's basically our uterine lining that is left. And then about up to 12 hours later, you're in the shower, you do a squat, and then you just squeeze it out, and it comes right out. And you clean it, and then what do? You push it right, I'm trying to show you guys, you push it right back in. Yeah. Wear this, and also help with merchants and get cloth-made pads. Cloth-made pads, you just, if you cough or just sneeze, sometimes it moves, honey. We have those muscles down there, okay? So when that happens, there might be a little spillage. So if that happens, you're gonna have a cloth pad, okay? And then it saves your life. I'm serious. I wore this with white pants. I usually don't wear white, but I was feeling a white pant boss move, okay? Now, it's incredible. So definitely do that, and I promise you, you're not going to save a whole bunch. You're going to save not only a whole bunch of money, but you're also going to save your sanity, because you know, my restaurant people, my service people, people that cannot barely go to the bathroom and you have to ask for permission, use this. It's incredible. Okay, thank you very much. On to this horrific, horrific crime. Okay, my brows, you guys, they are not browing today. I usually have a hard time because, you know, if you haven't noticed, I'm a redhead, you know, but I have blonde eyebrows, so I have to stamp them, I have to create them, and hopefully they look a little better. Okay, well, if you're wondering, well, Catie, what does your vanity have to do with this story? Well, I'm going to be talking about a young girl, a young teenage girl who didn't think that she was anything, who didn't think she was, you know, worth anything. And I feel like when you're a teenager, we all have those feelings, you know? So before I go on, I want to mention a movie. I don't know if you guys seen it. A movie back, and I believe it was early 2000s, and it was starring Anne Hathaway. Now, the movie is called Havoc, and it is an indie film starring Anne Hathaway, and I believe Bijou Phillips is in it. If I'm wrong, my apologies. But I'll let you know. She's in a lot of insane kind of movies. So this movie is basically how these suburban kids are trying to be street, are trying to have a gang lifestyle. But then when the initiation happens, you know, shit gets real. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it gets real. So when I think about this case, it brought me to the movie Havoc, because you have these kids who are trying to be hot shit and they're trying to be cool, trying to be like, you know, like the mafia lifestyle. And honestly, I cannot believe I'm talking about this, because these are literally kids. I'm going to be talking about kids from ages 14 to 16 years old, perhaps 17. So they're children. But this is a case where pretty much children are killing children. So it is a very brutal case. And so as I go back, I'm going to talk about Reena Virk. Reena Virk, she was only 14 years old when her life was taken. So it's already getting dark. Okay, now people are texting me? All right, sorry guys. Notifications off. Now, Reena Virk, she was born March 10th, 1983. She was the eldest of 3 children. Her parents were first-generation immigrants from India. Now, Reena is mainly about I gotta say murdered. She was definitely murdered. And it is her that is mainly the subject of the series Under the Bridge. Now, I'm already hiccuping because I get nervous talking about this, because you guys, I'm trying to do this story right, because I've heard different podcasts, I've read many articles, and Reena has been on my mind for days. In fact, this is the second time I'm redoing my makeup because I've been crying my eyeballs out. And you're going to be like, well, Catie, you cry at like every case. Probably. I probably do. But Reena, she just, I don't know. There was something about her. Reena, I feel like, just wanted to fit in. She felt like a total outcast. And, you know, I feel like this is the kind of age where when you're like, you know, early teens and it's in the 90s. So you're either, you know, grunge, hardcore, you're in the hip hop scene, gang lifestyle, that was new. I kind of remember that when I was younger, but it wasn't like as far as the Blood and the Crips. But this is a part in British Columbia, Canada, Victoria, actually. And it is a small town. Okay? And it is so small, in fact, that when this poor girl was missing and there were rumors in school that she was killed, it took the police like a week to basically do anything. Now, that could be a racial reason. We do not know. Or I'm trying to do different perspectives. Or it could be that kids will be kids and they'll just talk crap. So no one took them seriously. Even the teachers that heard didn't even contact authorities. So, yeah. But I'm going ahead of myself. So Reena she felt like an outcast. When you go to like an all-white school, okay, I'm sure there were different beautiful ethnicities there, but Reena wanted to fit in, which I feel that anyone, let me know down in the comments below if you wanted to fit in school, especially middle school. I feel like middle school was the worst of my bullying. I still was bullied in high school, but I feel the worst was middle school. I mean, even the teachers kind of bullied me. Now, Reena, her bullying was really bad. I don't want to compare, but I just want to, feel like there is, like people could relate to Reena. But Reena, she had beautiful dark skin, beautiful black hair, she had features that were very different than the other kids. And Reena was extremely shy. She was not very gregarious. She definitely really, like I said, wanted to fit in. Now, she had little crushes on guys in school and everything like that. Now, what I don't understand is she went to Colquitt's middle school, but her friends were mostly from Shoreline Middle School. Now, Shoreline Middle School are kind of where the rough and tough kids go. Yes. So that brings me to Nicole Cook. Nicole Cook, who basically Josephine Bell. If you watch the series, that's who Nicole Cook is representing. And she is like this wannabe mobster wife kind of teenager that is just rough and tough. And she just thinks that she is going to go to New York and become a mob wife and live her dreams. Yes, that's her aspiration in life, is to become a mob wife. Now, she came from a rough background, and as I'm going to say, all these kids did. But I will say something right now. Just because you came from a horrible background, I'm talking about textbook background, does not give any excuse of what happened to Reena Virk. Just want to let that be known. So, in the series, they make it seem that Reena runs into Nicole, and Nicole is shoplifting. But that day in school, when she's changing in front of the other girls are making fun of her body hair because she looks different than the other girls, and the other girls are, they're bitches. They're just being mean. And Reena doesn't like the way she looks. She doesn't like, her different looks that the other girls have. She does not like that she has a lot of hair. So she goes and buys a razor. Now, that's what happened in the series. But again, I was reading articles, listening to other podcasts. I don't know how they met, but the series seems that's how they met. But Nicole is one of those people, is like tall, blonde, the guys really want her. So Nicole giving Reena any type of, any kind of day, like she is just giving her attention, and Reena is surprised, like, oh wow, are you talking to me? And Nicole's like, yeah, so you should just take it. And that's supposed to be stealing a razor, being, shoplifting. And of course, Reena is very shy. She comes from a very strict background of being a Jehovah's Witness. So already that makes her an outcast. And I want to say something about the Jehovah's Witness. I have friends who are Jehovah's Witnesses. I have friends who have all kinds of religions, ethnicities, what have you. But I want to say that people did blame the strictness of the religion of why Reena did what she did. You know, she basically became rebellious and like a wild child, smoked. I'm not sure if she shoplifted, but she just was kind of like becoming a punk. You know what I'm saying? Trying to become gangster. Now, people mention that it's because she was Jehovah's Witness. I do not believe that is true. I don't want to say names here, but there is someone who I went to school with, and it brought a memory, okay? And she rode my bus. And I remember being friends with her, and she was very, very lovely. I remember she had like orangey red hair, freckled skin, glasses, and just was so kind, like literally like sunshine. And she was saying, you know, we were talking about birthdays or something. So I guess since I was a kid, I've always been fascinated with astrology. So I remember saying, you know, when's your birthday? And she'd be like, oh, my birthday is coming up. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so great. What are you asking for your birthday? And she was basically saying, oh, my birthday? Oh, we don't celebrate my birthday, my family. And I'm like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah. And she's still smiling. She does not seem like she's upset about it at all. And I was like, oh. And then she started saying that, you know, her family believes in not having or worshiping material possessions, okay, in some type of way. Which I remember being a kid, and I'm like, oh. You know, because, you know, I was celebrated with birthdays, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, you know, all kinds of holidays. You know, I was raised in a Roman Catholic family that was mostly Sicilian Italian. Like my dad, it's my stepdad, but I would never call him that. I'm just saying that because that's what I should technically tell him, but to me, he's my dad. He's been raising me since I was 2. But I was raised in a Roman Catholic family, Italian, so we were big on family, birthdays, all the things. So when I heard this girl on the bus didn't celebrate them, but she just said, yeah, we just don't believe in worshiping material possessions. Now, Reena had a different feeling about Jehovah's Witness. She felt stifled. She felt that she couldn't talk to her parents. But I feel like, you guys, I don't know about you, but that's any teenager. I had a hard time when I was a kid. Let me know down below if you did when you were a teenager. You didn't talk to your parents. And I was at the age where we had social media, like the beginning of it, where cyberbullying was becoming huge, you know? But this is 1997, so there wasn't really cyberbullying yet. This is just the horrible in-your-face physical bullying. So I want to make that clear. So Reena wanted to hang out with, you know, Nicole Cook. You have Missy Pletch and Missy, excuse me, I think her name was Missy Pleach. Yeah, Missy Pleach was her friend, apparently. Out of all these girls, I would say Missy Pletch or Pleach was her friend. Now, I thought they met when they met Nicole Cook, but according to my research, she knew Reena for a while. Kind of like Missy kind of introduced Kelly and Nicole. And these are kind of like the triple threat kind of people. And then there were more people, and they just thought they were like hot shit. In the series, you see them listening to Biggie. You see him, you know, hanging out about the gang lifestyle. They're very big on that. So like I said, when I was a kid, it wasn't that big. I mean, people wore baggy jeans, but nobody just like horribly beat up each other all the time for no reason. Well, in the Shoreline Middle School, beating up happened a lot. In fact, like some kids got the living crap beat out of them to be initiated in a gang. So they thought it was kind of cool. You know, it made you feel like, all right, I'm a badass. So now that I put you in that kind of kind of tone where we're going, okay? So Reena is kind of tired of being really made fun of. And when she befriends Nicole Cook, and she's already friends with Missy Pleach, and there is Kelly Elid, she just finally is kind of being a little bit secure in herself. Now, she realizes that her friends are very different than what she grew up with her family. Now, I want to say that her family really did seem like loving, wonderful parents. And there is no doubt about that in my mind, especially the actions that happen, especially what Reena does. Now, Reena, if you are listening to me right now, baby, I am not trying to put any blame at all on you. I just want to talk about how loving and really wonderful your parents were. They may have been strict. They may have raised you in a religion that you did not understand because other kids were not raised in that as well. So there's definitely miscommunication there. But I do believe that Reena's family absolutely loved her. Now, I feel that Nicole, I'm going to put the link down in the description below. It is a Dateline episode called Under the Bridge, Bloodlust. Now, Nicole Cook, oh my goodness, she was basically saying how Reena was desperate, trying to fit in, and she was jealous of her, and blah, 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 blah. Now, yeah, this girl has no remorse for what happened. In fact, the kids had no remorse of what happened. Except one, which we will talk about him. So Reena is hanging out with these girls. They're smoking, they're drinking, I believe they're cutting class. And they're hanging out with people that they shouldn't be hanging out with. But Nicole is hanging out with them, and the guys like Nicole, so she's feeling like, okay, I'm in the in crowd, this is awesome. But, Nicole, I don't know if it's exactly Nicole, but it was the friends that manipulated Reena. They did. They definitely manipulated Reena because the parents said when Reena was younger, she was a very, very good child. She was the eldest child, so she was very behaved and, they seem to be very close family. But of course, teenage years happen, and I swear with the hormones and everything changing and the outside world, you tend to, I feel like you change. When you're a teenager, like I say, you cannot pay me all the money in the world to go back to being a teenager. I'm serious. No, thank you. Okay? Well, the girls manipulate Reena, and they make Reena feel that, that they should, she should be with them. And when I say she should be with them, I'm saying not necessarily join the gang yet, which they called themselves Crip Mafia Crew, CRM, something like that. Crip, yeah, CMC. I'll have it up here. It doesn't matter. They weren't really a gang, okay? They tried. They were just kids that were trying to be wannabes, okay? That's what they were trying to do. These girls, you had Missy Pleach, you had Nicole Cook. Now, these two girls lived in a foster home called Seven Oaks Foster Home. So when I said these kids had a rough background, they had a rough background. Then you have Kelly Elid, whatever the hell you say her name. She is evil, even though she changed her name. I'll have it on the screen if you guys want to find her and punch her in the face. Sorry, I don't condone violence, even though I just did. Sorry, not sorry. You'll get why in a moment. Carrie Marie Sims is the name that she changed her name to. Okay, so Kelly, back then, now when I tell you guys, these are kids. Reena's 14. Kelly is 15. And I believe Nicole is like 15, 16. Teenagers, okay? Now, Kelly lives in a middle-class home, which is kind of upper-class home. and she is kind of from a broken home, but she still has parents that love her. Now, she hangs out with the Shoreline middle school people from Seven Oaks. So I don't know where the hell Kelly came from, but Kelly and Nicole are tight, where when Reena gets in the picture and Nicole starts to give Reena some attention, oh, Kelly does not like that. It is kind of like, she my best friend. She my best friend. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm like, can we all get along, you know? But these are kids. So, Reena feels that her home is like stifling and she's not happy. So, either Nicole or Kelly or Missy, whoever, they're like, well, if it's really so bad there, I know how you can stay with us. I know how you can be with us. You won't believe what Reena said to the police about her father. She claimed sexual abuse. She claimed that her father, like, this is in the series. I couldn't find this is true or not, but a lot of the series is true, but there is dramatization. Never can say that word. Dramatizations. There is some dramatic effect that is false. Like, I know that Cam, Lily Gladstone, she's amazing in it. She's a fictional character, but she represents the police that are fighting to find Reena. So, okay. But everything else, there's a lot of truth to it. So, it said in the series that, in the podcast, Reena claimed sexual abuse, that her father sexually abused her. In the series, though, she claimed that her father tied her up and hit her with a hammer. Now, what blows my mind is kids will say the darndest things, but man, that is the kind of thing that will ruin someone's life, reputation, and of course, Reena is taken out of the home. She is brought to her grandmother's, and she is not happy there. So she leaves there, and they take her to Seven Oaks, the foster home, where she is living with Nicole Cook and Missy Pleach. Now, Reena is realizing that this is not what she signed up for. Being in a foster home is not everything she pictured. Everything being like, you can do whatever you want. You don't have people telling you what to do. They give you money for food. Those kids made it seem like it was going to be awesome. But it wasn't. In fact, Reena felt completely alone. Now, the police immediately arrested Manjit. Manjit is Reena's father. And Suman, R.I.P., which I will get to the ending, is not here with us today during the story. But Suman believed her husband did not do any abuse to their children. And she stood by their side. Even though you had people in the family that even being accused of that was absolutely disgraceful. Now, when I tell you that her family loved her, man, I'm sorry. I'm not even getting to the part where what happened to her yet. Reena told social services and, people that she lied and she was very sorry and she wanted to go back home. And her parents let her back home. And I don't know about you, but I'm sure there'll be families out there would be like, F you, stay in the foster home, we're done. But Reena's family was supportive. They were forgiving, and they let her back. Even her father forgave her. He even wrote a book about Reena. Now, Reena's family believed that it wasn't all Reena. They knew that she was a good girl and a good child. It's that she was under the influence of really bad kids. Now, this time, Reena believes that these girls are not her friends because the bullying still goes on and Reena wants payback. There is a rumor that Reena apparently slept with someone's boyfriend. That's why she was wearing the jacket. But again, for me, I don't think that's true. I think kids just talk crap. I want you to list down below what rumors were told about you so we can share that and then we'll let it go. Apparently, I was pregnant many times in school, even though I literally was a virgin for a long, long time. Yeah, I was pregnant a lot and I was sleeping with the teachers. That's why I got good grades. And that was just a couple of the rumors that were told. So them saying that she slept with someone's boyfriend and wore the jacket, I think that was poppycock. I think that was not true. But Reena and Missy Pleach, they were friends. They've known each other for a while, okay? So they've known each other for a while, and you know, Reena kind of wants revenge. She does. She's back at her parents, and but she realizes hanging out with these girls that, you know, they lied. They don't want her best interest. And she's starting to kind of get unbrainwashed, saying that these are not my friends. But she was telling Missy that Nicole, someone needs to stand up to her. We need to get revenge. So Reena, to me, I think this was gangster and it was kind of funny and a badass. But because of this, the events that I'm going to talk about is so horrific. There's not even an excuse. Okay? All right. So Reena goes and gets the phone book. Remember back in the early 90s, or I don't know if you guys had an address book, but it was a phone book of all Nicole's phone numbers. Guys she dated, stuff like that. And Reena would actually call a guy she liked over and over again and kind of annoyed him a little bit, but he didn't think anything of it. But she would call other people and say rumors like, did you know that Nicole had AIDS? Did you know that Nicole had fake breasts? Did you know that Nicole wears contacts? You know, just stupid kid stuff, okay? And man, that got back to Nicole, and Nicole and Kelly were so mad that they got on the phone shortly and said, we got to kill her. Now, Kelly's parents, I believe her mom, heard what was going on about her wanting to kill someone, but the mom didn't take anything. She did not take it serious. She thought, you know, they were just talking crap. What? I'm sorry. That was loud. My apologies. And so Nicole is really mad, and she's like, yeah, we're going to get her, you know. Now, by this time, I believe it was the next day or the day of, I'm not sure. We don't know which person. It was either Nicole Cook or Missy Pleach. I believe they were there together, and maybe they were on the phone doing like a telephone thing, like, hey, you should come over to this party. And Reena was getting weird about it. She was like, I kind of heard that there's somebody getting beat up. Is it me? And they were saying, no, girl, it's someone else. No, you should come to this party. And she's just like, well, I don't, you know, and her family is sitting with dinner, and they already like let her back into the house, and her mother begs her not to go because Reena's like, I'll be back. I'm going to a party. And, you know, that was the last time her family saw Reena alive. So you have Missy Pleach and Nicole Cook leading her down to this so-called party, which was basically like, I believe it was the school, because there was a blacktop and fence, and there was like 30, maybe 20, 30 kids there. And It is late, okay? We're talking about November 14th, 1997. It is cold. It is a very eerie day. There is a full moon, and there is a Russian satellite that exploded in the sky. So a lot of weird things happened that night. But the energy was so extreme, you guys, that the energy still haunts that place today. The girls lure Reena, and she sees everybody, and they're smoking, probably drinking, and they're being loud and rowdy, and someone calls the cops, and the cops go and break everybody apart, and they run, and they leave, right? Well, then you have Kelly, you have, I believe it's like 6 or 7 people. Now, one podcast I heard 8, but another one I heard it was 6 girls and 1 guy. Okay? Now, Reena gets a little freaked out when she's there and the cops are there and she's talking, and, you know, she basically gets a little freaked because she's talking to Nicole, and she is just like, yeah, I heard what you said about me. And basically, you know, there's a little confrontation, nothing starting yet, and all of a sudden, Reena starts to run away. She starts to run and leave, and those kids run after her. Reena goes and stops at a payphone and calls, I believe, her mom. She calls a family member, you know, her family, and she is just like, hey, I'm not going to be home in an hour. But then right when she hangs up, you know, it's Missy Pleach, it's the girls that were there. They run after her. There's Kelly there, and they're banging on the telephone. The phone booth. And then, you know, they get her out, they drag her out, and Reena is getting scared, okay? She's like, what is going on, okay? So Reena gets out of the phone booth, and Missy's there. Missy Pleach, her friend till the end, you know, the one who cares about her. Well, Missy Pleach holds her back. She's not a friend, ladies and gentlemen. She's not. She holds her back. Nicole and Kelly come back, and Reena is just like, what's going on? And they go, I'm not sure if it's Nicole or Kelly, but they grab Reena's bus pass and rip it up. And Reena knows, oh shit, why do they rip up my bus pass? So the girls get one arm and another girl gets the other arm, okay? They get the other arm and they start rushing Reena. And they're like, yeah, let's go under the bridge. It's called the Craig Flower Bridge. It's close to that area. And this bridge, you guys, it is not a hot spot, okay? Under the bridge is a very dark place. It's already dark outside. It's freezing. It's in November. We're in Canada. And there is the smell of pee and trash everywhere. It is just no bueno. But these girls are smiling like, yeah, girl, let's hang out. Yeah, let's talk. But when they got her and they put her under the bridge, you know, Nicole starts unloading on her and saying, like, I can't believe you. Like, we don't really know what was said because this is the game of telephone at this point. And Reena's like, you're a bitch. And when that happens, Nicole gets a lit cigarette and puts it on Reena's forehead. And when that happens, the people that are there, this is one girl, she's 14 years old, under a bridge by herself. These 7 people start jumping her. They smash her in the face. And as soon as she goes down, they start kicking her. They start kicking and punching her. Yeah, I know. It's like 7 against 1. How is that fair? How is that real gangster? I don't think so. I'm sorry. That just like irks me to no end. I don't know why, but when someone pulls someone back in a fight, like one friend pulls them back and the other person just punches him in the face. That is the most cowardly thing to do. It's one thing to be in a fight. Do 1 against 1, okay? Do not get your friends to fight for you. I can't stand that. This beating lasts for 2 minutes until one girl who is like the athlete of the group, okay? She is the tall girl. She is the one who does martial arts. She makes everyone stop. She goes, she's had enough. She's had enough. It's done. It's done. Okay? So everyone stops. Okay? And Reena just is hurting. She's punched. She's bleeding. And they stop. Then what they do is, you would think they go over there and it's like, hey, are you okay? And they try to get her up. They don't. She's there just lying there, battered and bruised. The next thing, the kids realize how late it is, especially the Seven Oaks kids. It's either their curfew was 11 or midnight. I don't remember, but it was close. So you had those kids leave. They start walking back to the bus stop so where the bus can take them back. But you have 2 people that stay behind. That is Kelly, and that is Warren Glauski. Now, this is rough. Warren Glauski. Warren Glauski didn't even know who Reena was. Yeah, didn't even know who she was. Warren Glauski came from a rough background as well. He was homeless for a while. His dad kind of sent him money. He lived in a trailer by himself. And last time he saw his mom, she was extreme alcoholic. So again, Warren had anger problems. You know, he was mad at the world. And he was in the gang. And, you know, he wore gang colors. I didn't know that white was a gang color. But he was apparently a wannabe Crip. Now, if you would think that one girl, Kelly, would be like, hey, Warren, come here. Let's go see if she's okay. Now, Warren said that she said, hey, let's go see if she's sorry. Because while Reena is lying there, okay, she's lying there under the bridge, hurting, she actually gets up. She actually gets up and starts to wander over the bridge to start going home. As she is stumbling over the bridge, she is wobbling. She's in pain. She just wants to go home. She starts heading home. Now, as I said, Warren and Kelly, they stayed behind of the group and they start to follow Reena. And the next thing they know is they actually grab her and they drag her under the bridge. And you would think that, you know, Kelly is basically saying, are you going to tell? Are you going to rat us out? And poor Reena, she's doing everything she can to get out of there. And she is just like, I'm not going to say anything. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And as that is happening, okay, Kelly starts beating her up, punched her in the face, hitting her really hard. And then she falls to the ground. And Warren, you know what he does? You think he goes after her and picks her up and checks on her? No, he soccer kicks her in the head. Sorry. Warren soccer kicks Reena in the head. Now this little girl has already been beaten. She has been burnt with a cigarette. And they even attempted to light her hair on fire. And Kelly just keeps hitting her. And Warren starts kicking her. He already kicked her in the head. And between her being unconscious, Reena is saying, "I'm sorry." Kelly then takes her head and smashes it on a tree. And Reena is like unconscious. Then Warren grabs one of Reena's legs. And then Kelly grabs the other and starts to slowly bring her inside the water, like the beach, like the gorge way. Now, Warren actually stops right there. Kelly, she keeps on going. She keeps on going. She keeps going and goes waist deep in the water and karate chops poor Reena's throat. Because as soon as poor Reena got into that freezing water, she woke up. I'm sorry. Little Reena, she woke up. And Kelly, she knew it took her a long time to admit what she did. Years. But she knew it went too far. It went way too far. And Reena was still alive. But Kelly decided to put her underwater. And by this time, when you're hit in the head and you're beaten up so bad that you can't even be mobilized, like you can't even fight. So Kelly, two things say this. One circumstance is she puts her hand down and she just puts her in the water. But before that happens, Reena's pants and her underwear come off. And so when Kelly is drowning Reena, because when Reena's body is found, there is pebbles found in her lungs during the autopsy, which means Kelly is violently drowning Reena. In the series, Kelly said that she put her foot down on Reena's throat and smoked a cigarette while she held Reena under. I don't know if that's true, but the fact is, Kelly did drown Reena. And left her there. Warren, they both left her there. The next day, Kelly calls Nicole, and she is bragging to what she did. And Nicole is shocked. Nicole is shocked. They do this pinky swear, you won't tell anybody. And she makes Nicole go down to under the bridge to make sure that all the evidence is gone. So they take Reena's shoes. I believe her bag was already taken during the attack the first time. Now her parents are wondering where the hell Reena is. I'm so sorry, you guys. Like, I just can't. This is so fucked up. Like they did not see her as a human being. And rarely people talk about this, but the beautiful Bindi, I believe that's what it's called. I'm sorry. I think it's called Bindi, but When Nicole did the cigarette on her forehead, I do believe that was a racial thing. I think that was a hate crime. Like, I don't understand how you could hurt somebody or hate somebody so much. And Warren, you didn't even know her. The first beating lasts 2 minutes. The second beating lasts 15 minutes. And by the time her body was found, Oh my gosh, the autopsy, it looked like she was in a severe car crash. Her 2 arms were broken. Her back was broken. She had a severe bruising all over her body. And they even said like she had a boot imprint on her brain. So Warren admits later, it takes a long time, but he admits it, that he did more than just kick her in the head like a soccer ball, but they were literally jumping on her. Like in the air, just stomping on her. I'm sorry. Oh my God, Reena, it's so sad. Oh, sorry. Reena, I'm here. I'm here, Reena. I will tell your story, Reena. I'm so sorry. Sounds like coffee time. All right. Excuse me, guys. I don't have tea today. I have coffee. Yes. I have just regular coffee, no sugar, and it's in one of my absolute favorite mugs. I love Robin Hood, the Disney version. I love Robin Hood so much. It's one of my favorites. So I'm going to take a sip, and it looks really hot. If you are listening to the podcast, there is a lot of steam that is coming out of this cup. Yeah, that is fresh coffee with no sugar. Awesome. All right, so that was rough talking about what happened to Reena. Okay, so when parents went to the police were basically saying that, Reena ran away because, they found out that since the father was accused of those horrific acts, that, he had some part of it. So, of course, the struggle from being accused of something that he did not do still haunted him. So the police were looking at him, but he had a very strong alibi, of course. And the police, again, they just didn't think that, she just ran away. But the parents were like, no, my daughter called and said she'll be here in an hour and she's not here. So this happened on a Friday. On Monday, Kelly blabbed to like 11 people what she did to Reena. And she was bragging. She was proud of it. She thought she was just this badass mafia, you can't mess with me kind of person. And like I said in the beginning, it took one kid that they will not name to go to the police to talk about the rumors and to realize that Reena is not there and Reena is missing. So the police actually go through the kids' lockers and trying to figure out what's going on. And they go in and they see a notebook of Kelly's where you actually have a police officer being killed. And there's blood everywhere. And the police are like, this is very suspicious. So they arrest Nicole Cook. They arrest Kelly. And not yet, they haven't arrested Warren yet, but that will come. So it takes a while. Of course, these kids are denying everything that happened. And it is just like a shit show for the, criminal justice system. It really is. The Virks, the family, Suman, Manjit, her siblings. I mean, it was just absolute hell. Especially when they found out what happened to poor Reena. The police were absolutely devastated. They could not believe such violence would happen on a youth, let alone teenagers do this to one another. And so they fought. November 21st is when the body is found So like poor Reena was murdered November 14th, 1997, but her body was found a week later. It was basically, the police were trying to find her and they only found pieces of clothing. So they realized, well, where is she? But then a week later, her body was in a shallow kind of part of the water that the water pushed her body into the gorge. And then that's where the police found her. And it was just a horrible, horrible time. They could not understand. And this wasn't from a pedophile. This is kids. Because by now, like, kids will talk crap, but these rumors were true. So, and these kids are arrested. You got Kelly, who has this high-price attorney lawyer, and then you have Nicole Cook, and then you have these other kids. So these kids admit it. They were actually called the Shoreline Six. Okay? Now, the two of these kids, where Warren is actually ratted out on by his girlfriend at the time when she finds bloody clothes. And he actually tells her what happens. And, you think that you're not going to rat somebody out, but then when you realize that he is not who he says he is and he's a monster, yeah. I know, you see how the light changed out of nowhere? Is a lot of energy in here. Relax. Sending positive energy, good vibes. Okay, I guess not. So I'm on the spotlight, guys. This is what's happening. Okay. So Warren gets ratted out on, and because he basically talks to a few people and they're like, it was Warren. And they blame everything on Warren. Okay, which he was to blame, but he was not completely to blame. In fact, Kelly actually denied what she did to Reena and said that people were just trying to destroy her reputation. Yeah, okay, Kelly, you told 11 fucking people. You know what I'm saying? How do 11 people have the same story? Just saying. So this court case goes on for a long time, but the Shoreline Six, including Nicole, who put the cigarette on her head, okay? Yeah. She only got a year, and she said she got an injustice amount of time. She didn't think that she deserved to have a year in prison. But she's right about one thing. It was unjust. She deserved to stay in there for a very long time, because I feel if she did not put that cigarette on her forehead, it would have never started the violence. When she did that, I feel like that was a ready, set, go. But she got a year. And the people that kicked and punched Reena on the first attack, they only got a year as well. And I read there was not much remorse at all. None. And I pray, I pray that they friggin' dream about it. That shit haunts them. And they probably have kids right now. And I don't wish this on anybody else, but I hope that Reena is haunting their ass. And I think that Reena actually haunted Warren, and Reena actually haunted Kelly. Because it took Kelly 4 cases, 4 trials for one person to actually get what she deserved. And if you're wondering, whoa, Catie, why do you think it was all Kelly? In actuality, it took Warren 7 years to actually rat out on Kelly. Because when you have the gang lifestyle, snitches get stitches and wind up in ditches, nobody ratted out anybody. But Warren wanted forgiveness from Reena's parents. And Reena's parents gave him that. You have any idea how brave that is? for Reena's parents to forgive their daughter's killer? Even though he did not drown her, but they said with the brutality of the head injuries that she received on the second attack, that would have killed her already. She would have been done. I can't wrap my head around the cruelty, the violence. These are teenagers. What? I don't know about you, but if I see someone on the ground, even if I don't know you, I'm going to help you up. If I see blood coming out, I'm going to help you up. But no, these kids were angry. They're angry at their situation. So they took their anger out on someone. Some didn't even know who she was. She was nothing to them. Warren mentioned that she had a hairy back, hairy behind. Because yes, when she was found, guys, she was only found with a t-shirt. The humiliation, the pain. I could never imagine what Reena went through. She needs to be known more today. I go on a tangent, I'm sorry. So Warren gets forgiveness from the family and actually testifies against Kelly. And there's a prosecutor named Catherine. Catherine, maybe I shall call Catie. All she does is bring Kelly her jacket that night that had the saltwater stains. Now, Kelly has been through a mistrial. Kelly has been through technically 3 mistrials, and it took 11 years to finally bring this bitch to justice. But when this prosecutor talked about the pebbles that were found in Reena's lungs, and when she brought the jacket, oh my gosh, Kelly flipped out. She screamed in the courtroom and was like, "Are you feeling better now? Do you feel better? Do you? Because now my life is ruined. I'm going to be convicted." So this good girl scene, this high-priced lawyer, it didn't work this time. She got convicted. She got convicted to life. Now, in Canada law, if you're a minor, apparently you get 7 years because they're very big on rehabilitation. Kelly never got rehabilitated. In fact, when she got day parole, which is basically you get all day supervised, but you got to go back to jail, she picked a fight with a 50-year-old woman, claimed that she stole her phone, but she beat her up. She also had a conjugal visit and got knocked up and has 2 children. What? Warren? In 2007, Warren actually was released on day parole because of Reena's family. They did not argue or stop the parole. They actually wanted him. They believed that he was rehabilitated, that he was sorry. Man, when you read the courts saying that we did not give her mercy, oh, gives me the bad chills. But Reena's family did give Warren mercy. And Warren is the type of criminal that was rehabilitated. In fact, today, he actually goes and talks to schools about anti-bullying and tells them their story and keeps Reena's legacy alive in Canada. Wow. You go, Warren. Because Warren did feel sorry. And the parents forgave. But Reena's family went through horror after horror for over a decade. reliving the trial over and over again because of Kelly saying, I didn't do anything. People are trying to ruin my reputation. But finally in 2017, she cracked and she said it. And she basically said that it had gone too far and she thought she was unconscious anyway. So she just, I guess, I'm guessing ending her misery. I don't know. I don't know. There's no reason for it to be that cruel. To be that cruel at all. Reena's things were actually found in the group home at Seven Oaks. Now, in the series, they said it was found in Kelly's room, but in actuality, it was found in Seven Oaks, where the girls were trying to hide her things, but this girl was not really loyal to these crazy girls, and was not about the gang lifestyle, maybe pretended, but wasn't, and quickly gave that up to authorities. So that is the awful, awful story of Reena Virk. And I really wanted to talk about her story and really humanize her, because I've heard some podcasts, I've read articles, and they say things like she was beat up. But the severity of what I researched, they were saying it was bullying. That was like a mob attack. That was like a slaughter. One person against like 7, 8 people, and then one person against 2 people, while you're like, you know, you're like, you're down. Like, you don't kick someone while they're down. You just don't do that. Like, yeah, like I said, I don't think, I mean, this is bullying. It is, but this is worse than bullying. This was a hate crime. This was kids that were angry at their life and they saw someone weaker than them and they thought they could destroy this young, beautiful soul who really didn't know how beautiful and precious she was. She didn't get to grow up and realize how strong and courageous she was. She was tortured that day. Now, some articles say that place was destroyed. Another article says that that area is still there, but that dark energy is still there. Reena was a Pisces. She was emotional, beautiful, kind. And I just want to say that bullying happens everywhere. And I don't want to hear the excuse of, oh, well, what's ever happening to them makes them do that. No, I'm sorry. You are a real monster to do what Kelly did. Even did what Warren did. How about the 6 kids, what they did? But the judges believe that their lives shouldn't have been ruined because of this mistake. Really? A mistake? I'm sorry. This is a slaughter. This is a mob. This is like a lynching without the rope. This is awful. And you're going to come at me like, Catie, these were kids. They didn't know about the bindi. I'm sure there was pictures in the history books of the beautiful Indian culture. My first best friend, you guys, when I lived in Texas, and if you come across this, her name was Arshana Rai. And I believe I was in 3rd grade. And I remember like it was yesterday how wonderful and kind she was. Because I was bullied all my life. I was. But it's not about me. It's not. And I know there's other kids out there have been bullied. And I want to let you know that there's nothing wrong with you and you are not alone and there are plenty of people that can help you. You don't have to suffer in silence. But if Archana Rai ever comes to this podcast, I just want to say thank you so much for being kind to me, even though I was there for a short time, because I was the type of family, if you ever want story time, we moved a lot when we were kids. But Archana was a really wonderful little girl. And I remember being invited to her home, and they made this amazing Indian food where they used a lot of buttermilk, which that was my first time. And that is just a beautiful memory that I always have. So I think Reena spoke to me because wanting to do this story. First of all, again, thank you for the TikTok user. It was brutal. I don't understand how kids could be that cruel, but there's got to be another word for cruelty. Yeah, I'm just blabbing. This is a very long podcast. Thank you for being here. If you listen to the whole thing, thank you so much. It helps so much with the algorithm. I appreciate you. Please know that, you are loved and you are cherished. And remember, you are doing better than you think. Bye.